not used to this kind of elegy, I must say. And what is actually more important today is the subject that we are going to deal with and the distinguished panelists that we have around the table. And of course, you are going to contribute to this, to the discussion that we will have at the end of our session. Now, when Sanjay mentioned the opportunity to share, to moderate this session on geosmart and resource management, the first thing that came to my mind, well, resource management is indeed one of the priorities of the European Union's 2020 strategy, which I will summarize in one phrase. It's about smart, sustainable, and inclusive growth. And one of the 7 flagship programs of this strategy is called the Resource Efficiency Strategy. Now, resource efficiency, what are we actually talking about? Let's say we could look at resource efficiency from an economical point of view. My colleagues working on this topic in DG Environment, they often talk about the circular economy. Again, you can summarize this. It's about use, reuse. And when I started thinking about something which is circular, the first thing that came to my mind was the hamster that my daughter holds as a pet. And thinking along the lines of the hamster, I said, well, humanity is a little bit like a hamster. We are locked into a treadmill. And the treadmill goes, produce, consume, grow. Produce, consume, grow. And the hamster gets more and more fat because it needs to grow. But how smart is the hamster? How smart can we make the hamster? If the hamster will grow too fat, the wheel will stop turning, and then we will have a serious problem. So with the help of geospatial technologies, and of course the input from our distinguished panelists, I hope we can pass a few messages today to the hamster. And for that I count in the first place on Dr. Wendy Watson-Wright, who is currently based in France as the Assistant Director General, but also as the Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO. So, welcome, Wendy. As a second speaker, more from the, call it, enabler technology side, we have with us from the US, Christopher, can I say Chris? Chris Capelli, Director of Sales of ESRI. Clearly, a major player in enabling the information systems that the hamster will need. Then thirdly, an esteemed colleague of mine from the European Commission, Dr. Reinhard Schulte-Braux, with whom I've had the pleasure to work over the last almost a decade on the Copernicus program, which is now an infrastructure, a European Union infrastructure, which is managed from a political point of view, and also financially, I must say, by the Directorate General Enterprise and Industry. So, welcome, Reinhard. And then last, but certainly not at least, another key player in delivering the information that a hamster will need is Mr. Mar Khoury, who is at the moment the Senior Director of Channel EME of Digital Globe, again from USA. So without any further ado, to set the scene, I would welcome our first speaker, Dr. Wendy Watson-Wright. The floor is yours.